I understand that you're completely looking at the longevity of the individual you're working with. But if the goal is for that person to have a child with a partner, what role or what are you doing to work with the partner sometimes? Because of course it's two people, right, that are involved in this process. Women usually get the brunt of the blame, let's say, where a lot of times, as you mentioned, motility of sperm, 50% down, all these things,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah, yeah.
men got to take some responsibility for this.
Absolutely.
How are you working with that, understanding that, of course, you're looking more on the woman's side of the
Right.
equation?
Right. Well, great point. First, for a start, we're looking more on the women's side to begin with, because as I said, it's the one time they're less complicated than men, the one time.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it's a very valid point you bring about what we call joint decision making. So the first thing we do is we, if there is that situation, again, we're very clear it's about longevity. It's not about having children again. But
Hmm.
what we do is we say in the initial interview or the initial consultation, if they have a partner, the partner is absolutely free to come on the screen, to come with us, to join in, to be able to speak. And also from our point of view, that gives us better data set points. We understand. Now, without again being specific, uh, there are generalizations within certain cultures and communities whereby there are, as you say, women are always given the blame, right? And it's wrong because
Hmm.
it's actually not that true. There is a lot more to it than happens. And again, by them being pressurized by their partners, by their family, whomever, that can have a negative Freudenspanner because you
Hmm.
emotionally, your cortisol levels go up, cortisol makes you temporarily infertile, etc., etc., etc.
Yes.
So what we want to do is say, listen, dude, chill out. you know, take it easy. And the thing is that's where it's actually where it's actually quite useful as a guy to be able to do that. That's great because you can say that as a man. So we do look at that very much so. We work with uh, a lady who's very, very interesting, Terry Kuti, who does the EPC Foundation. It's to do with cancers, breast cancer survivors. Remarkable woman, actually. Remarkable. I should introduce you to her. She's fantastic.
Mm.
Um, and Dr. Minas Chrysopoulou, who does the actual breast reconstruction. And they developed something called joint decision making processes
Mm.
and understanding how you have that. And so we do have within our team Dr. Manos Galayeros, who actually works in decision making, joint decision making areas, exactly for this reason. So in a very long-winded way again, sorry, a bit long-winded today, but in
Mm.
terms of like the answers, yes, we look at that very clearly, and we're not expecting them to be there all the time, but by them knowing that we're there, they tends to relax the situation, so therefore has a knock-on effect of reducing that. And also once or twice we've been asked for the men to be, they've asked us to do some checks on them and their health.
Hmm.
But one of the issues with that is, with the men's side of things, is that there's a lot of areas with regard to fixing men it's much harder. So it is actually harder. It's
Yeah.
it's just very, very difficult. But yeah, so that's basically what we do. That's how
Yeah.
we do it. So we do check into that. Yeah.
No, I think it's one of those kind of taboo things that men don't like to discuss that there, could be a problem in this situation. But of course, it takes both sides, and it's great that you're, of course, looking at that joint decision-making process and relieving some of that pressure from the woman's side. Now you're expanding. You got new locations coming up. Where are the locations right now? If people are interested and wondering where this happens.
Okay, great. So we have two locations in the North American continent, and I'm assuming that because you're based in New York, we're just going to talk about the North American continent. Okay.
That's right.
So we have Mexico City, Santa
Hmm.
Fe, Mexico City, and we have one in Tijuana or Tijuana. To do it in the Freudian span away.
The American Freud span way.
Tijuana. So we have those two locations, and they are both very, very high quality um, locations. And ironically, at the conference that we met at, one of the people that was there, it turned out that this, who's now one of our patients, turns out that she worked with one of the clinics. Oh my God, you worked with Priscilla? And I was like, yeah. I was like, okay, I'm coming straight away. I work with him already. I was like, okay.
Small world.
It's a small world, but that's actually great, because what that does is it allows people to have, we're cutting edge. We are, again, we are, because we're pioneers, and both of us are in this area, it's very easy to get chopped down at the knees before you get going.
Absolutely.
And so by keeping it as quality as possible, as diligent as possible, as professional as possible, is the best way we can prove that this has real long-term value for areas. So in your locations, they're the two, Mexico City and Tijuana. We do have others coming on board towards the end of the year, but worry about that. When you bring me on again, I'll talk about it then.
Yeah. I know you're busy with two others, but those are
Yeah.
the two
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.